number 3 of the 5-part series. This video is to give you an overview of what I have been going through over the years in Ireland and gives you one or two examples. Video number 4 is a narration of the day of May 20th, 2025, when I believe I had a heart attack, but doctors say otherwise. Video number 5 is the interpretation of the day's events. I believe that facts should be separated from opinions so that people understand clearly. And my statement, I know it's not a proof. The doctors are very sarcastic towards me, and I want to be very clear. As the years have rolled by, I have been a frequent hospital goer, both accident and emergency, and being admitted as inpatient. I arrive with ugly symptoms like chest pain, severe vomiting, high blood pressure, neurological symptoms. My throat screws up, but the hospital says the same thing, that I am normal. That's what's been going on, and I want your attention so you clearly understand what I'm trying to say. Naturally, if I have these illnesses every now and then and the doctor says I am normal, you might say I have a petty illness like the flu and it goes away. I think when diseases are progressing, I think mine are, I think the fatal stages are not necessarily the most painful. Many heart patients are walking and working till they die. In my case, medics refuse to communicate anything other than normal. I need an operation of my neck, which they were supposed to do in 2019. In 2025, my GP says the wait will be up to 2 years. My personal view is that they don't intend to do it at all. Besides, they might have some knowledge that they do not share with me. They sit back and relax and know that I will be dead before 2027. That is what I feel is possibly true. In 2021, I was standing on the pavement trying to open the door of a building. In my head, I was repeatedly reaching the doorknob and I couldn't open the door. I felt confused and maybe I wasn't reaching the doorknob, but I was in front of the door. I woke up at some distance from that place and I felt all wet. It was my blood from my head and in acute pain. 2 taxi drivers came along. They lifted me and one of them put me in his taxi and drove me to Mater Hospital. As a good Samaritan, he did not even charge any money, and he told the A&E lady, he took me inside, she blacked out. I didn't understand that I blacked out and I wasn't understanding anything. They bandaged my head and told me it is normal for head injuries to bleed profusely. The doctors heard that I blacked out and it would have been normal for them to wonder why. They just wanted to bandage and send me away. I asked, why did I fall like that? Why am I feeling so unwell? Why was I feeling confused and found myself somewhere else on the ground? So basically, they don't have any motivation to investigate. Then they do a head scan, which doesn't even last a minute. After that, I'm waiting, and in 10 minutes, they tell me I'm normal and I can go. I say, no, I'm not normal. I have an illness. Why would I feel so unwell? I've never fainted on the road before. It's not safe to keep an illness like that. At that point, I'm arguing against a medical professional. The lady doctor at Accident and Emergency threatens to call the psychiatrist and makes me wait in the cubicle. I am scared, and with my wounded head, I can't run. I thought she would call a psychiatrist and section me. I think some people feel this is great compassion, but I was too weak to run. Luckily, the lady doctor came back by herself and she had changed her mind. Maybe someone told her it's not very nice and she asked me to go home. In 2023, July, I had tried to see a different cardiologist, and after waiting 12 months, I got to see one. It was July, and they saw me and had an MRI done of my heart in November 2023. The 2022 test and the 2023 test, they they gave me CD-ROMs that were duds, and in the 2022 one, the DVD contained dud files that had been purposely loaded from Windows. I don't know the ABC of medicine, but I know the AB of computers and Windows. And that sort of file doesn't get on by accident. I trust doctors and medical records completely, so it was more than a year after getting the DVD, it was more than a year when I inserted it in my computer, and I found it had dud files, and the same with the DVD of the cardiac MRI. It did not contain dud files. It was a fake, medical report. Of course, they gave paper reports and they changed the 2022 diagnosis to normal after telling me it's life threatening. Now, in 2023, November, when they did the MRI, I had another bout of syncope, which means loss of consciousness. In my room, when I stood up one night, I fell down and I felt very acute pain. I felt as though I was falling through free space. I had a funny sensation and I had great pain, and my wrist had snapped into two. I made my way downstairs, and Mater kept me 4 days, and they helped me with the hand, but they wouldn't help me with the cause of syncope. A lady doctor, a very nice young junior doctor, told me that this is cardiogenic syncope, but in comes the cardiologist and she says, we do not know why you had syncope, and I think we may never know. Now, they are always saying they may never know. In 2022, they said they are doing an echo to find why I have a shortness of breath, and they've done an echo in 2023. They've done an MRI, and they've done some more scans now. My heart is deteriorating, and even now they are saying they want to find the cause of the shortness of breath. I think the test, they're not telling me why they keep on doing tests to find a particular thing, but they never find it. That they've not explained. Uh, when I'm in hospital, a male consultant yells at me that I should be talking to social workers. What about, sir? This has been a really weird thing, and they told me that I have to share my feelings with a social worker. I don't know if people all over the world will get mad about this. They want me to be sharing with women. I think I should have the right to share with whichever sex I please. This violates my freedom of sexual orientation. Painkillers they are willing to give, cups of tea. Physiotherapy is music in their ears. I do not need physiotherapy, but if I ask, it is available. My GP does scans. But the specialist who has to interpret the scans and treat the positives, they don't take any action. It has always been that way. Things lead up to the last minute. Then they are dropped. It happens again and again. It looks like they want to keep my expectations up as long as possible. I think that is their strategy. If the treatment is more crucial, the doctors become dodgy. When it comes to life-threatening illness, the doctors do not want me to understand the illness is there. Now, when they did an MRI in October 2023, the cardiologist told me it is normal. I got a paper report containing, well, very little information, and without medical knowledge, I cannot interpret it. It seems to say there are a couple of things wrong, but there's nothing written on the report. It says my mitral valve is prolapsing and everything else is normal, normal, normal. Uh, right now, I've got this thing, and my blood pressure is normal, wonderful, beautiful, normal, but I may be dying. So, somebody, I don't know if it's a medical fact that you could be a heart patient, you could be dying, but your blood pressure is wonderful, normal, normal, wonderful, normal, excellent, and very, very fit. So this, uh, so in October 2023, he had said, November 2023's MRI, he had said nothing. The report only said my mitral valve is prolapsing. But in 2025, when he looks at it, when I've had another scan and it's got these blockages that are quite dangerous, nobody told me they're dangerous, but I've been researching my reports, the terms in my report. So then I told him, and he says, yes, I know there are blockages. And he saw those huge blockages in the MRI, but he did not tell me, and they did not put it in the report. So how am I going to trust the report? Because the report conceals facts. If there are threatening blockages, they should tell you. If they're small, big, they should tell you they are there, because otherwise they're going to grow, and because of these blockages, we are going to die. They want me to die, nobody cares. Irish doctors want me to die. They are keeping me in a totally backward, illiterate, same sex virtual prison. And here it is not socially acceptable for me to speak to a man. Maybe they know that I am going to die without anybody finding out. Maybe I will be grabbed and thrown out for making such allegations. I would like to remain here until I die, or by some miracle of God get help from overseas. While I am 100% sure there is no moving out of this same sex prison. I mean, I don't want to go into another same sex prison, so I want to stay in this same sex prison rather than move to another one, which is worse. But if I'm going to be in a room and fall sick, worse, 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 always saying I'm normal and die, I might as well have euthanasia. I am not in the women's organizations, and I know they are a comfort paradise. They are a person who never wants, and I want you to know that that is not going to happen. I don't want to be with women, women, and women all the time, and I make it very clear that this is not going to change about me till the day I die, even if women crowd around me, and I'm not really going to want some. And that is a promise on God. You need to hopefully believe it. Let's say a junior doctor gives kindness and she wants to give medical intervention. Then the consultant enters and changes everything. The consultant is probably aware of some hidden policy that I am a hands-off person who is supposed to die without timely medical intervention. In Britain, I saw in the newspapers there was a scandal about a middle-aged chap who had DNR written on his chart. He had Down syndrome. He died without cardiac resuscitation. The controversy is that his family had not requested for him not to be resuscitated. Then the newspaper told the family and everybody that he did not die because he was not resuscitated, even though he was not resuscitated. Now, these are all sweet white lies. I don't know if people believe it. Look, I was once in a London Underground train. Look, I'm just trying to be educative, and I was sitting there. You know how people jump in front of an underground train to commit suicide? Chances are virtually nil you will survive. But at the station, it's easy to jump because the train is accessible, and in between, well, it goes through weird terrain and you can't exactly jump in everywhere. So people come to the station and jump on the track, and even then, and the bus train has slowed down, they die. So the train stopped at the station. They said there's a person under the train, and there were 20 guys looking under the front of the train, and maybe the man was dead beyond a doubt, but they said everything has become okay and we're going to drive. Why? Because it's gory. They don't want the passengers to think they're driving over a man. But let me tell you, people who have been hit by a underground train, they don't become okay. They do not become okay. They've become okay because they're deceased and there's no point. So, in the same way, if there was DNR written on the man's thing and he died without that, then he wasn't given cardiac resuscitation, which was the cause of his death. They can say he died of other causes, but that's a kind of a lie, you know. So, I heard from the newspaper that, there are some other categories of people who have DNR written on their chart. I don't think DNR is written on my chart, but I absolutely dread to think what they will do. Maybe they cannot resuscitate even if DNR is not written on my chart. They seem to be, I don't know what they're doing. Uh, Maybe they have DNT written on my chart. Do not treat. You can ask, you lying bitch, how can I know this is true? Well, my GP, I've seen him and he's really, really angry that I think the hospital lied. But I want the world to know, well, a statement is not a proof. Uh, the These videos are merely making a statement. The only thing I hope to prove is that my various allegations form a consistent picture. If somebody dies in a hospital, there is rarely any proof that proper efforts were not made to try to save them, unless, of course, another doctor reports doctor negligence or the patient's family has been closely monitoring their patient and they know that something was not done. I don't have family. I'm living alone in Ireland and I feel they don't like me. If I die from medical neglect, nobody will know, nobody will care. Only women are around me and they're not perceptive, they're not interested. An example of this sort of thing, I just want people to understand it happens. I am only making a statement. A statement is not a proof. I have admitted that I understand that a statement is not a proof. So the bottom line is, and I had a friend in the UK. He was called Regent Exeter of Shifnal, Shropshire. He died, and I made a complaint of foul play to the government ombudsman. 18 months after his death, they released the medical records because of the ombudsman. These showed that for at least 12 months before his death, his GP, who was seeing him once a month, was recording an abnormally high blood pressure but not advising his patient that he had high blood pressure. He did not give any medication to lower the blood pressure, and because the patient was not informed, he could not go off to another GP to get his blood pressure medication. He was uh, he had a lot of interests and goals in life, and he would have most definitely made the effort to get the medicine if he knew about it. I was ignorant at the time I met him. Many people are ignorant because we haven't studied medicine, and unless we or our family members have become sick, we don't understand these things. But Regent's doctor, being a doctor, he knew that if a person has a very high blood pressure, the only thing you have to do is to sit back and relax and let time do it all. The what is going to happen is that 100% the person is going to die suddenly. The doctor cannot predict exactly when, but he knows it as a medical fact. And that's what he did. A couple of weeks before Regent died, he told me over the phone that his GP gave him a new preparation that was worsening all his symptoms. Uh, we had a right to ask the GP some questions, and the GP said, "He's a madman, don't believe anything he said." So what I'm trying to say is this sort of thing can happen. I could be targeted too, since I do not seem to have a purpose in life as a resident of Ireland. I do not have any human relationships. I do not have any money. I am living in a room and I do not belong to any agency. I am sure the last three sentences fill people with contempt so that I go from hero to zero. I think from zero to zero. I think from zero to minus infinity. For all these reasons, I am basically stagnating. I am also living in a medical rut where doctors keep saying I am healthy and send me away and then I'll be back in hospital. Don't get me wrong, nobody is abusive to me. The nurses are very kind. It is the odd one who sounds angry. When I am admitted into a ward, the rest of the patients get a diagnosis. I do not get a diagnosis. I get admitted and released, admitted and released. The nurses are nice, giving cups of tea, which makes me feel good. But all said and done, my conditions are progressing by God, uh, uh, and my conditions would have been the same and I would have recovered whether or not I had been admitted to that hospital. They do tests and scans, they monitor me, but it is difficult to get information out of any medic other than the word normal, and I do not get medical intervention. Always unwell. The only thing doctors have said in the last 7 years is that everything is looking good. Uh, I do believe they are preparing for me to die and will be closely monitoring me. Regent was closely monitored until he died. I have facility to A&E every time I have a crisis. It's going to be terrible when I go to Martyr the next time. So recently, when like I said, I had a scan that revealed blockages in three coronary arteries that are quite large, including one called LAD, Lima Alpha Delta, and that the top part and the middle part have this stenosis, which means blockage, and that is called widowmaker, and that is the most dangerous thing to have, one of the most dangerous things to have, and will cause my sudden death. There is no medical intervention, there is no counseling, there is nothing at all going on, and I am just getting worse and worse and worse. I have got the problem all the time. uh, Yes, you do not have to believe that what I said is true. What I do hope to achieve by this video series is that a human being needs to communicate. I would like these facts to be known by a billion people. In the event of my death, I want it registered that I have left a testimony that they did this to me deliberately till I die. I don't have anyone to talk to, and it would be good to spread the message. Naturally, I would like to get medical assistance. From the looks of it, I will have to get suggestions or contacts for somebody to contact me from outside Ireland. I seek people of male gender to give publicity to my videos. I would like medical help and otherwise, and if I'm going to live like this, I want much publicized euthanasia because I've been miserable for a long time. I'm not trying to do anything in my room right now. I'm trying to be public. After all, I am a barking dog, and barking dogs do not bite. I am trying to be open. They do have a mental health service here. The role is to flush your complaints down the toilet. You are asked to talk to someone with the brains of a cat who, apart from having a vertical tail, does not care for you. They claim it will help your head. Is there anyone for whom this rings a familiar bell? Whereas I want my case to be very public, not flushed down a toilet. Whatever happens, the process of dying is not going to be fun, and it's up to God. Can He get me help from maybe outside Ireland? Can someone speak to me? This is a same sex gulag, and nobody here understands what's wrong with that because they're comfortable with that, but I'm not comfortable with that. The third thing is I would like people to be helped by my video and have inspiration because they are in a similar situation. I want to help people whether or not I am helped.